The past year has been an absolute disaster for Disney after they decided they were more worried about identity politics and indoctrinating children than they were in actually entertaining people. And all of that has come back to bite them after having the worst stock day they've had in nearly 20 years, after losing nearly half of this company's value over the past 365 days. Bob Chapek finally announced, hey guys, it's not going so well. We're going to have to fire people. We're going to have to do a hiring freeze. Big changes are going to have to come because we can't keep losing this kind of money. And on the heels of that announcement, people are now very concerned, as they have been for a while, about the next Disney release. As Black Panther is ready for its second weekend in theaters, people are reminding everyone of the newest animated Disney movie that's supposed to release next week. A movie that you might not have seen too much about because seemingly they haven't done a whole lot of advertisement for it. Strange World. Disney is sending Strange World out to die. Disney's upcoming animated film Strange World has barely been promoted, and this may be to avoid some of the controversies of another 2022 flop. And of course, the flop they're referring to would be Lightyear. Lightyear was one of the biggest failures that Disney's ever had. A movie that cost $200 million to make, and a movie that just barely brought in over $200 million at the global box office. Considering the break-even point for Lightyear, a $200 million budget, is around $500 million, this movie lost potentially nearly $300 million for Disney. An absolute unmitigated disaster. And why? Well, it's because, in large part, the movie was full of identity politics. That's one of the ways that they promoted it, and it's one of the things that bit Disney in their ass when they fought the state of Florida about sexualizing children, all these things. And then it turns out that they are also inserting those things in the Lightyear movie. People were not happy about it. Well, the same things are in Strange World. Upcoming Disney tune Strange World features gay teens. We heard it from Disney themselves. We have a not-so-secret gay agenda, and we know the most vulnerable population. We know who they are, and we're going to go after kids. That's what they said. And considering Disney hasn't necessarily spent the money to advertise this as much as you would expect, it tells me a couple things. One, they don't want a ton of the backlash that has driven them into the dirt over the past year because they know the reaction that people are going to have. And two, they know this is likely going to flop and lose money anyway, so why even waste the money to promote it? That's the kind of thing we're talking about for Disney. These types of decisions, how far they have fallen. The child groomers who now infest Disney have big new animated children's film set for release next week that features homosexuality involving two teenage boys. This is an animated film. This is a kid's film. This is a movie that was created for and is promoted to little kids. And here's the description that we got about this months and months ago. Just saw the very first glimpse into Disney's Strange World at Annecy 2022 Festival. It featured the first openly gay teen romance in a Disney feature. Hashtag representation matters. The scene describes the son as being very shy in front of his boy crush, and his dad comes in and says, "So nice to meet you. My son talks about you all the time," and further embarrasses his son. I'm sure this will play super well with the global audience. I'm sure they won't either get this banned or try to make cuts so it actually can get released in Middle East countries. I'm sure everything will be perfectly fine, right? This is the second time Disney's tried to sneak a gay agenda into a children's movie just this year. It blew up in their face when Lightyear tanked. We all know what happens if Strange World bombs. People will be labeled bigots and homophobes and all of these things. You know it. You know that that's the route they're going to go. It's undeniable. But it's so funny to me that they are kind of hiding it because they know how badly this is blown up in their face. They've spent money, so they kind of have to release it. When you look at these last couple releases, Encanto at the end of 2021, what did it do on like, what, $150 million budget I think Encanto had? Let me make sure. I believe it was $150 million budget. So that needs to make somewhere around $375 to break even. It made $230. So now we have yet another Disney animated movie that's set for release that is set to absolutely fucking flop. The projections for this are laughable. The projections right now for Strange World between a $20 to $30 million opening weekend. That is horrendous. That is horrific. But this is where Disney's at. No longer are they the kings of animation. No longer are they really the kings of anything. As Universal continues to make strides and take over nearly every single park that they have, Disney desperately raising their prices as much as they can. This is what happens when you focus on all this other stuff, when you focus on your woke agenda, when you push away families, and when you strategically go out there with the intention to attack families, to take away parents' rights. That's what Florida said they wanted to do. That's what they're putting in their material. We saw all those leaked Zoom calls that tell you exactly what the executives are trying to do. It is a not so secret agenda that they have at Disney, and it's all there for everybody to see in their content. Certainly looks like once again, they might have another massive flop on their hands with Strange World. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.